So in the other video we worked on authentication. So today we are going to be looking at the create, read, update and then delete functionalities of Firebase. So we are going to be working with Cloud Firestore database. Okay, so this is not real-time database, this is just for Cloud Firestore. Okay, so let's first log in and then see what we'll be dealing with. So let me provide my details. My internet is a bit slow, so if it's taking too long to load, it's my internet, not the app's functionality. Okay, so this is what we have. So with creating the account, I added a feature for a username, so we get this username displayed over here. So hello, whatever username that you provide when registering. Okay, and then we have this input for taking in our to do, and then we have this button for adding our to do. So if we have nothing, or if the content of the input is less than 3 words, you can't update it unless it's more than. So let's write something and then see how it works. So with the create, let's say clean the room. So like I mentioned, my internet, that's why it's taking too long to load. So it gets added over here, and then we should see it reflect over here. If I refresh, let me add something else whilst it loads. Take out the trash. Okay, so you see the other one also gets added. So we have this. Let's add another last one. Let's say move the long. Is that how to spell move? Anyway, you get the idea. So you see now we have 3 items here, and then we have 3 items here. So that's the create. So you see initially we had no to-dos over here. So if it doesn't exist, it just creates it for you. Okay, that's the power of Firebase and Cloud Firestore. So let's say with the update, we want to change the let's say it's completed status. So when we check this, you see now it's clean the room, so it falls over here. So when we check it to true, you see it should be updated over here. See, now it's true. So that's the update. And then with read, if we log out and then log in, it's going to fetch all these to-dos to-do lists over here. So that will be the read. And with the delete, let's say we long press, we get this alert, and then when we select delete, it's going to delete the item. So you see now we are left with 2 over here, and we are left with 2. So let's write some code. Okay, so to get started with using Cloud Firestore, you come here. So if you haven't already started using it, you should see something similar to this. So you see a button like this, create database or get started button. So you just click on it. We are not going to be using real-time database, so I don't want to click on it. So you click on it, and then you should be presented with something like this. Okay, it should be empty like this. So once you have it like this, let's get into the code and then start using Cloud Firestore. Alright, so now this is what we have. So you see nothing is being sent to the database or anything. So let's add something. Let's say clean my workstation. You see we've added something. Our internet is working, but if we go to Firebase, see nothing is here. When we refresh, we still see nothing because it hasn't been connected to Firebase. You see there's nothing. So let's start and then write some code for create. Okay, so I've created this folder over here, and then we have create. You see it has nothing. Delete, read, update. So first of all, let's create. So to start off, let's say it's a function, and let's say create to do task or something. Yeah, and then what we will do is, so to start using Firestore, first of all we need our DB instance, and then our DB instance is going to be the Firestore instance. So we'll do, you see in authentication we did get auth, so in Firestore we will do get Firestore. Okay, and then we will pass it our application config. So this app is this that we are talking about, is this. Okay, this app is what we are passing to our get Firestore. And then now the next thing is our collection. So what's the name of the collections that we want to create in our Firestore DB? So the name, let's say to-dos collection. Okay, it's one, so collection, and then we import collection from Firebase Firestore/Firestore, and then we'll pass it our DB. Okay, then the name of our collection. So the name of our collection is going to be to-dos. Okay, you can name it whatever you want, according to like the functionality or the use case. All right, so that's it. And then now I want to create an interface for the data that is going to be passed to our create to-do list. So I'll come over here and create an interface. Let's say to-do item interface. So the data that we are going to pass, first we'll pass the to-do, which is a string, and then we'll pass it the user ID. So let's name it as owner ID. So we'll be using that to perform some query for specific data related to the current user. Okay, so that's also going to be a string. And then there is completed, which is going to be a boolean. Okay, so these are the three things that we'll be needing. So we'll get that from here. So data, and then it will be a to-do item interface. Okay, now to use this, so what we will do is we would return this with add doc, and then we'll pass it our to-dos collection, and then we'll pass our data. But before that, there is something more that we need to add to our data that will be passed. So let's say db data, then this db data, we need to add a created art, and then this created art is going to be a timestamp, and we are importing that from CRUD Firestore, timestamp that now. So when the item was added to the to the database, and then we have the completed art. So the completed art, when it's first being created, it's going to be an empty string because you can't pass null to CRUD Firestore. It's going to be an error. So completed art is a string, and then now we are going to copy over our data, and then we would add that rather to the database. So db data. Okay, so we return this. Now let's export this. Alright, so this is what we have. So to use this, we come here, and then first of all, let's just use a try catch over here, and first we'll check if there is a user. So this user is to get the current user. You use this get auth, and then you pass it the app config instance, and then the current user. So if a user is signed in, you should get a current user over here. Okay, so if user or if not user, so that we can do our other logic, we just return. Else we would let's see response or added task is going to be await what did we call our function over here? Create to do task. So we come here and then we do create to do task, and then we pass it our data. So our data is going to be, we have our to do, we have our, what do you call, user, let's UID. No, we have our to do, and then owner ID. The owner ID is going to be the user.uid. You see, you get all the other functionality, and then is completed is going to be false by default. It's false. So this is what you are going to have. So to change this, you see by default over here, what we are doing is the document ID, we are using date.now. Okay, but we want to use the document ID from the database. So upon this action or this create functionality, we are going to get a document ID. So we come over here and then we copy this, then bring it over here, and this doc ID is going to be added task.id. You see, so if it's successful, that's what you are going to get. So, and then this is the owner ID, and we update our task over here. So now let's save. Expected first argument to a collection to be a collections ref. So you come here. No problem. Let's just go inside here and then refresh. And it should go away. So come here. Let's do our test at gmail.com. Then test 1 2 3 4. So this persistence issue, it's with React Native Firebase. So you shouldn't worry about that if you are using the JS SDK. Okay, so let's do something. Move the line or pin. You know what? I want to use something that we haven't already used. So rearrange workstation. Then let's bring the console up. Okay, let's refresh to show that there's nothing here before we hit add or enter. So you can see there's nothing over here, it has been refreshed. So we just hit add, and then we should see it over here. It has something. We'll come here and then we would set it has been added by this to loading. Before we start, we set loading. So we come here. Set loading is to true, and then we add a finally block, and then we set loading it to false. So whatever the outcome, we should set loading to false. So let's add it. Let's refresh over here. So you see we have our to-dos, and then there's it rearrange workstation. It's working very nicely. So let's add another item to the list. Let's say clean my room. Then you see now we get the loading indicator. Okay, so it has been added. So that's where it creates. And now you see, even if I click on this, even though it works all right, it does not change over here. You can see it's still false. This also is still false, but the value is true over here. So now let's work on updates. So we come here and then updates. So we'll do the same thing for update also. So first of all, let's create our function. Let's say update to do item, and then all we will do is take the document ID, and then let's say the value that we want to change. So in this case, let's say we are going to change the is completed. Okay, so we come over here, and then just like that, we will use our DB. We can import the DB from here, but for learning purpose, I'll just copy this and then paste it over here. But in a real world application, you would want to export this. Okay, so let's paste this over here. And then let's import this add or missing import. So everything has been imported. This is a string, and then this is a boolean. Okay, so now we come over here. This is a bit different from the other one. So to do this, first of all, you create a document instance which is going to be doc. You see, we import doc from Firestore, and then we pass it our collection. Okay, and then we pass it our document ID. Okay, pass it our document. Oh, okay, document ref. All right, so pass it our to-dos collection. Sorry for that. Okay, so we use doc and then the collection. So this is the collection and then the ID. Okay, so this ID is going to be passed in, and then now to update, we just do await. This is what we are going to return. So await update doc. So we get update doc over here, and then we pass it our document reference, and then whatever property that we would want to update. So it's completed. Okay, so as simple as that. Now let's export this and then use this function. So just like that, we have that also. So we'll go into the to-do item, and then you see now we have delete my to-do, check as completed. So we come over here, then now we add a try catch, and then what we'll do is we are going to import so what name did we give to it? Update to do item. So we'll await update to do item, and then we'll pass it our doc ID, document ID, and then the property that we want to change. So it's completed to not completed. Okay. So why is this error? So argument is completed. It's not assign now to type of boolean. Did I do anything wrong over here? No need to do that. Just okay. So sorry about that. So we are only passing it a value. So I was passing it an object instead of a boolean. Okay. So this is what's going to go on, and then after that we do this. Copy this and then paste it over here, and then whatever, if there's an error, we just use an alert to show the error. So something went wrong, and then whatever that went wrong, so the error is unknown. So let's just use any for now to make TypeScript to stop yelling at us. Okay, so now let's bring our console up and then check this. What's going on? Oh, okay. So I'm supposed to let's make it work offline first before we implement it online. So we come over here and then bring our console up. So we should see it updated. Clean my room. See, now it's gone to false. It's true, false, true. Okay, so the update is also working properly. Now let's work on delete. So delete, we do the same thing for delete. So like I said, this in a real world application you would want to import, but for teaching purposes, that's why I'm repeating myself over here. So let's import this. Then we come here, delete my to-do item, and then we'll take the document ID, which is a string with small letter, and then what we are going to do is we'll do the same thing that we did for updates. So we'll come over here and then let's copy this line of code, and then paste it over here and import this. Okay, now so to delete this, we just return, if I can return, we do await delete doc. So you see this delete doc, and then we pass it our document reference, and then it should delete. So it's just as simple as that. Just see this, just this small lines of code. Okay, and then now let's import it over here. Have a try catch and add this over here and await delete my to-do item, and then we pass it our doc ID, and then it should be deleted. Now we come here, if something goes wrong, show an alert and then say something went wrong, and then the error message. Let's set this as any. Great. Now let's bring up our console, and then we want to delete clean my room. Okay, so long press delete, and then this should be gone. You see, now it's gone. Okay, so it means it works. All right, so now the tricky part is with the read. So with the read, we are going to do some querying, Query, kill as in queen. Yeah. So query, I'm going to be querying some data. So now let's close everything over here, and then let's go into the read. So in the read, we are going to first, let's export our function, missing function, and then the name of the function is fetch only my to-do list. Okay, so it's going to fetch just yours. So maybe in the future we are going to be talking about we are going to learn how to write Firebase rules, because now we are working in test mode, and then in test mode everything is accessible, but in production mode you would want to write some security rules to prevent some data from being accessed by certain users. You understand? Okay, so now let's work on the read. So we go into the create, copy this again. This is getting tiring. Like I mentioned again, you would want to export and then import them. Okay, now let's bring this also. All right, so now we have this. So what we need to do now is we will create a query. So const my to-dos query, whatever the right pronunciation is, and then we'll pass it our to-dos collection. Okay, and then what are we going to so no, we are going to query for owner ID. So as you can see over here, we added an owner ID to it. So you see this owner ID, that's what you are going to query for. And then query my to-dos collection where the owner ID is equal to the owner ID is equal to, so over here we are going to get the owner ID. Okay, or not owner ID, let's just do UID, which is a string, and then we pass that over here, UID. Okay, so we want to check the to-dos collection where the owner ID is equal to the user's unique ID. Okay, now to get the data, we just do return await get docs. get docs over here, docs, and then we'll pass it our my to-do query. Then this should do it. So this is the tricky part, the query and then the where. Okay, all right, so now let's fetch our to-do. So we go into our home screen and then come over here. We'll create a use layout effect. Use layout effect. So we'll fetch this before the layout is being rendered. Okay, and our dependencies. So let's come over here and then write an async function, and then the name of the function will be, let's say, get my to-dos in DB. Right, so in DB, and then first of all, if user, if not user, we are going to return, else we are going to await the results. We are going to await what's the name we gave to it, fetch only my to-do list. So fetch only my to-do list, and then the user ID is going to be user dot unique ID. Okay, so we are going to get a response from here, and then what we are going to do is my to-dos is going to be the results dot docs. So the document that it returns from the results, and then we'll loop over it. It's going to be an array. So let's use D for document, and then we are going to return an object. So we need the document ID. So we do doc ID, which is going to be D dot. Sorry, I forgot to map. Dot map. So D dot, and then ID. Then the rest we just spread the data. D dot data. Okay, and then once we get this, we set the task to my to-dos. Great. So we come over here and then get my to-dos in DB. Then we pass the user as our dependency. Let's say if the user signs out or the user changes. Okay, so now let's add more. Let's say sweep the field, clear the bush. Then let's check this. So sweep the field is true. Okay, so now let's refresh and then log in and then see if you are going to get the data. So test at gmail.com, and then over here let's do test 1 2 3 4. So you see we have this. So sweep the field was true. So let's go over here and then check. So it's true. So we need to check this over here, completed. So it's rather is completed, which is not in the data. So no problem. We just this isn't matching correctly, so let me just undo this and let's do this completed. Now let's refresh and then see. So you see these are checked, so they are by default checked. So that's with Firebase. You can add as more as you want. If we uncheck this, this is not supposed to happen. We need to, if I check this, it's supposed to come underneath. So I think something is wrong over here, so we come here and then check as completed. So I'll hit set complete. If I check this, it's supposed to go down. So let me come here, home screen, task. So I'll go over here in my utils, the sort to dos. I would have to change this to is completed. So let me change all occurrences to is completed and then save. Now if I check this, it should come down and work as expected. Great. So guys, that will be all for today. If you like this video, kindly like and subscribe. Please do me a favor and subscribe, like and subscribe. See you in the next one. And if you want me to make a video on a specific topic, just write it in the comment section and I'll be sure to attend to it. Thank you and see you in the next one.